You know that feeling. You are sitting on your bed, phone in your hand, and before you even register what happened, an hour is gone. That hour was your energy and it went into a news cycle. We have been producing noise and we have been experiencing the result, feeling lost, feeling weak, watching life move around us instead of being moved by us. Viewers, today we are talking a continuation of episode 7. In episode 7, we understood the 360 degrees, the actual universe we live in, the only territory where our energy means something real. And we asked one question: how much of our life are we actually living inside our 360-degree universe? Most of us looked at the screen time in our phone and we felt it uncanny, shaken, like a truth we already knew but had been avoiding for a long piece of time. We have all been spending our lives in a universe that does not even belong to us. Within our own thoughts, we are in someone else's universe. So in this episode, we are diving deeper because the depth matters. And I want to make a promise to you right now. By the end of this video, you're going to understand how to take all those hours scattered across the outside world and use them to do extraordinary things that the greatest minds in history spent their entire lives trying to explain to us. We are going to learn how to bend our reality, not as a mere philosophy, as mechanics, as something we can start using today. Because the universe is not happening to us, it is responding to us. And it only responds to what is happening inside our 360 degrees. In episode 7, we understood one law: energy flows where attention goes. That is not a motivational phrase. That is as precise and non-negotiable as the law of gravity. You know that feeling. You are sitting on your bed, phone in your hand, and before you even register what happened, an hour is gone, just gone. And the work that was waiting for you, the idea you have been carrying, the call you needed to make, still sitting there, untouched. That hour was your energy and it went into a news cycle, happening thousands, 10,000 miles away, into a conflict you had zero power to change, into someone else's highlights reels on Instagram that left you feeling smaller than when you opened it. 6.5 hours a day, that is the average 6.5 hours of human focus, our most powerful resource, poured into a situation where it produces nothing, changes nothing, returns nothing. And we are left feeling lost and weak, exhausted by a world we never had any say in. That is not bad luck. That is misdirected energy. Now, what happens when we pull it back? When our energy stops leaking into the outside world and comes home into our 360, it concentrates. A laser and a light bulb use the exact same energy. The light bulb fills a room with a dim glow. The laser cuts through steel. The only difference is focus. When our attention is fully inside our 360 degrees, we stop broadcasting powerlessness into a universe we cannot touch. We start broadcasting clarity into the universe beyond. And those are two complete different signals. The universe responds to both, but it responds to them very differently. Energy concentrated produces force. Energy scattered produces noise. We have been producing noise. And we have been experiencing the result. Feeling lost, feeling weak, watching life move around us instead of being moved by us. Let me show you how this actually works, not as theory, in a life, in a real Tuesday afternoon. Let's talk about Elizabeth. She's my mentor. I've been mentoring her for the last 15 days. She's been great. Elizabeth has a business idea, a genuine one. She has been turning it over in her mind for nearly 2 years. A product, a service, a real thing that she genuinely believes could change her life. But Elizabeth spends 4 hours a day on her phone. The news, the outrage, scrolling through Snapchat, Facebook Reels, absorbing other people's highlights and other people's catastrophes. Comparison, scroll, and keep repeating the loop. And the business idea sits there, waiting. While Elizabeth's energy flows into a universe that was never hers. Then one day, she looks at the screen time in her phone and she feels it. Uncomfortable. A moment of truth in her life. She puts the phone down, not forever, just for that morning. And she sits with the idea. She feels it as if it is already real. The product launched, the first customer, the version of her life that become possible. She asks herself, what is the one real thing inside my 360 degrees, in these actual 4 walls around me, that I can do today? And something shifts. She messages her friend Laura, the one she has been meeting for coffee every Thursday, and mentions the idea. Laura's eyes light up because Laura's brother works in exactly that industry. Laura makes a call. The door opens that was not there yesterday. And Elizabeth thinks, what a coincidence. But it was not a coincidence. Why? Because everything that's coming into your life, you are attracting into your life. And it's attracted to you by virtue of the images you're holding in your mind. Whatever is going on in your mind, good or bad, you decide. You are attracting to you. What changed for Elizabeth was not the world. The world was the same. Tuesday, it always was. Laura had always been there. Laura's brother had always worked in that industry. The door had always existed. What changed was Elizabeth's frequency. Her thoughts, her actions, her efforts. She stopped broadcasting chaos into a universe she cannot touch. She started concentrating clarity into the universe she earned. And her 360 degrees, which had always been listening, began to echolocate the new frequency. It began to mirror it back. We have all had a version of this. A day where we were so absorbed in something that mattered, so completely inside our 360 degrees, that we forgot to check the phone. And that day, something always happened. A message arrived, a connection appeared, an idea crystallized. We called it luck. We called it coincidence. It was neither. It was the law. We have all had that day, the day we were completely inside the work, writing, building, creating. And we looked up and 3 hours had passed. And we have not once reached for the phone. And that afternoon, a colleague we had not heard from in months sent a message out of nowhere with exactly the connection we needed. We told a friend about it that evening and called it the strangest coincidence. It was not strange. It was the 360-degree responding to a concentrated broadcast. And then we have the other day, the one where we could not stop scrolling from the moment we woke up, where the anxiety had no name but was sitting in the chest. From the first notification where everything felt slightly off and nothing moved the way we needed it to. The 360 degrees was responding to the broadcast too. It always does. It always has. We just did not understand the mechanism until now. So here is how we become conscious architects instead of accidental ones. 3 practices, non-negotiable. Starting tomorrow morning. The first, generate the frequency before the world gets in. Tomorrow morning, before the phone comes off the nightstand, before the first notification arrives. We spend 5 minutes inside the outcome we want. Not wishing for it, actually feeling it, as if it is already real. The way Elizabeth sat with her product and felt the first customer. The way she felt the version of her life that becomes possible. 5 minutes, generate the frequency first, then let the day catch up to it. See yourself living in the outcome you want and you will attract it. It works every time with every person because the law is absolute and there are no mistakes. The second, protect the 360 degree with intention. Every time we feel ourselves pulled into the noise cycle, the outrage, the comparison scroll, we ask one question. Can I actually change this from where I am sitting right now? If the answer is no, we close the app. We return to our 360 degree. Without guilt, without drama, just return. The third, act immediately on what appears inside your 360 degrees. When the door opens, it will. We move. We do not wait to feel more ready. We do not ask how it will all work out. We take the next step that is visible. The universe does not send a map. It sends one open door, and it stays open only for the person who is actually looking. The world needs us distracted. A distracted human is a powerless human. A powerless human keeps consuming, and a consuming human is building someone else's empire with their most precious hours. We were told that the life is something that happens to us, that we show up, we react as well as we can, and we hope for the best. That was never true. We were never passengers. We were always architects. We just did not know it. Every hour we spend in the zero control zone, every morning we handed to the phone before we had a single thought of our own. We were still creating, just not what we wanted, just not ours. Elizabeth's door did not open because the world changed. It opened because she changed her broadcast. And the broadcast is ours to change right now, starting tomorrow morning, before the phone, before the noise. 5 minutes inside what we are building. The law is not complicated. It is not mystical. It is not reserved for special people. Everything coming into our life, we have been attracting the good mornings and the lost hours, the open doors and the closed ones. We were always the architect. The difference between where we are and where we want to be is simply this: the quality of what is happening inside our 360-degree right now. Change that, and the universe, which has always been listening, will begin to mirror something entirely different back. That is the law. That is the code. If it landed for you, share it with the person in your life who is exhausted by a world they cannot control. Because the answer has never been out there. It was always in here. And remember, this is not an advice. This is a code. See you at sunrise.